Hello guys, my name is Max and welcome back to the channel. Today's episode will be another one in a series of my Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 customization. In the first part, I showed you what I did to the front, and the second, what I did to the rear, and in the third one, I changed my exhaust system. So now it's time to talk about suspension. And to be completely honest, the main reason why I'm doing the suspension upgrade today is curiosity. Because I found the stock suspension to be perfectly adequate for this bike, but after reading so many positive reviews on the internet, there was no doubt I need to try it myself. So today's episode will be about TEC alloy gas shocks. The installation of the shocks is super easy and super straightforward, and it doesn't worth a video. So today I'll talk about how to set up the suspension, how to set the Rider Sag and Rebound damping. Before I start any work on the suspension, I just wanted to say that this video was not intended to be a tutorial, it's more like a documentary. I'll show you what I did and how I did it, but I will also provide you with the links to the original videos so you can watch them yourself. Alright, so as you can see, I got the rear shocks already fitted. The manufacturer recommends before doing any work on the suspension settings, just ride it for a few hundred miles. So I had this on the bike for 2 weeks now, and I think it's now ready to properly set the Rider Sag and the Rebound damping. In order to set the sag correctly, you need to do some calculations, and in order to do the calculations, you need to do some measurements. So I'll show you what you need to do. So to set the sag, you actually don't need too many tools. You need the key to work on the suspension. You need a tape measure, a pen, piece of paper, and the user manual. So in this user manual, there are some recommendations for the settings, which we will refer a little bit later. So the first measurement we need to take is the free suspension length. The best way to do it is to put your bike on the rear stand and then do the measurement. Unfortunately, I have the middle stand removed to save on the bike weight. So I will need to do it in a slightly more tricky way. But actually before, we need to remove any preload that is already put on a shock. So the first measurement is 38 centimeters. Now let's do the second measurement, which is called the free sag. (36.5). And so for this last measurement, which is Rider Sag, I need to be in my full riding gear. I don't have a helmet with me, but I think it should be fine. Ideally, you want to measure Rider Sag in your full gear, and if you carry luggage, you want the luggage on as well. (34.5). All right, so I got all my measurements. Now I need to do the calculations. All right, so we know that the target or recommended Rider Sag is 25% of the suspension travel. And the suspension travel is 8 centimeters. So 25% of the 8 centimeters is 2 centimeters, while our current Rider Sag is 3.5. So this means that the suspension is way too soft for me, and I need to put some preload. We also know that free sag, target free sag, should be about 30% of Rider Sag. This means that 0.3 times 2, 0.6. However, in our case, the free sag is 1.5. So the suspension is way too soft for me, and I need to put some preload. But first I need to take off the jacket because it's very warm in here. And of course, everything I do on the right side, I need to do on the left side as well. It's about 1 centimeter down. Remember, we need to be at 36. Now we are maybe just above 36. All right, so I think that's good actually. So now what I need to do is just to make sure that the both springs are set at the same value. Alright, so this is it really. So the correct rider sag is set up, and now we can deal with the rebound damping. So rebound damping, I'm afraid, is a bit more subjective setting, but it's also a very important one, and it needs to be correctly set up according to the road. If the road is bumpy, you want less damping. If it's a good flat road, you want more damping. And when you watch other videos that recommend how to set up the correct damping, you will see what they do is they will push on the suspension and see the rebound. If it's too slow, you need to decrease damping. If it's too fast and oscillating too much, you need to put the damping. Let's try to do the same on the Interceptor. So let's put the rebound to the softest setting, and to make sure we are rotating the knobs in the right direction, let's just check what the user manual says. It says turn the adjusting ring at the bottom of a shock clockwise, left to right, to make it harder, and anti-clockwise to make it softer. And the recommended setting is 3 to 5 clicks from the softest. Was it left or right to go harder? So it was clockwise to make it harder, clockwise. All right, let's see how it rebounds. All right, now let's put to the softest setting. So I think it actually is the other way around. So I think that is the hardest setting. All right, so let's read it again. So it says to make it harder, rotate it clockwise. Okay, clockwise. But we just understood that that's not how you do it. You need to do it anti-clockwise. Maybe it's because they are considering it, if you look at from the bottom to the top, and I'm looking from the top to the bottom, so it's mirrored. It's the other way around. But anyway, when you're doing this, check the user manual, and then try it yourself. Put it to the far left, see how it rebounds. If it's the hardest setting, then that's the hardest setting. Go to the other direction, see how it rebounds, and then it should be softer. All right, so since this is the hardest, let's put it back to the softest, and then put let's say 3 clicks from the softest. 1, 2, 3. So now we have the rebound damping set to 3 clicks from the softest as recommended per user manual. What I need to do now is take the bike for a ride.